You asked that how is it that the mind, the content of mind can contribute, can have any contribution to the movement of any action. So like one thing I can think of
Yeah,
is determination, future ambition, and these kind of things
yeah,
comes like it appears to comes from the mind
yeah,
and it influence a lot the movement of the body. For example, if you have a very strong ambition, future, these kind of things, then the actions are very dynamic and a lot of movement. And when the content of the mind is very relaxed and peaceful, then there is not, like she was saying, that she's just sitting on the couch all day and only the bare necessary movement that need to happen happens. So in this way mind has influence on the action.
seems like that. I'll tell you what you said actually reminded me of a story. Many years ago, I used to run this foundation called the Kushal Foundation, where we would provide underprivileged children in the slums of Bangalore with healthcare services. And then one day I went to the clinic, and over there, these volunteers they showed me some booklets. We used to maintain health booklets for all the kids. They said today Bill Gates came. Bill Gates came. I said, Bill Gates came because I know that he ran the foundation, so I have oh Bill Gates came, you know? And then I realized that they were talking about this kid whose name was Bill Gates. And I said, is this a joke? Were they just fooling around and filling this? It is because the father asked, so who is the richest man in the world? And someone told him, Bill Gates. They said, my child is going to be the richest man in the world, and that's why his name is Bill Gates. Then like this, I started noticing that in the urban slums, it's a pattern like this. That there are kids who are called George Bush, Bill Gates. Yes, I have health records and I've met the parents. There are kids who are called these names because my child should be the most powerful one. So who's the most powerful? Maybe at that time it was George Bush. Who's the richest one? Bill Gates. Okay? So that with this conditioning, with this ambition, with this, it would translate into a lot of fire and energy into this. You see, but you could be called Bill Gates, you could have all the Bill Gates thoughts, you see, but you could still be sitting on your couch. You see, if it was just about these thoughts, and everyone has very fancy thoughts, you see, even as tomorrow onwards, I'm just going to crack it, you see. Yeah, and yet it doesn't move. Why? Because the cloud is shaped as if it is the Indra, the god of thunder, doesn't mean it's going to necessarily rain like that. Okay? So there are times where a cloud could be shaped like that and it rains like that. Then the mind comes and says, see, because you had these thoughts, you were able to do it. Okay? Then many times you also must have noticed that without any ambition, thought, goal, you're very productive at work. You see, you've done all your work faster than if you were full of saying, yes, today I'm going to just finish it so fast so I can finish everything and then go to satsang in the evening. And it just doesn't seem to move. The most simple program has a bug which is not being spotted at all. So this is the same Yoga Vashisht example. Yeah? The bird comes and lands on the branch of the coconut tree and the coconut falls. The mind says, because the bird came and landed. If it is all about the content of our ambition, the content of our thoughts and beliefs, then everybody would be super achiever. Nobody wants to not be.
It's not only that, it's like suppose like this thought of over ambition
Yeah.
or achievement inspiration comes in the form of thought, and then if the belief happens for that thought, then it brings the movement. For example, Satsang, now let's make some money.
Yeah.
So like if you believe that thought,
Yeah.
then of course the like there will be some changes in the
It can seem like that. That's what I'm saying. It's a seeming, But many have believed these kind of thoughts and still show up in satsang the next day. You see, and many have not. So in this, there's a book called Fooled by Randomness. Take even mathematically, the play of this world is very statistically accurate to a random set of same say golf balls. You have these mathematical studies on these things, right? So if you take 7 billion golf balls, one will land up over there, one will go here, one will go here, just mathematically. You see, and the book Fooled by Randomness is about this. How we take just what is aligned completely with statistical probability and we assign very good stories to them and say it is because of this kind of vision or this kind of strategy or this kind of whatever, right? Which is very aligned with what we are saying about choicelessness or no doership. Because this whole world is working with some sort of mathematical probability, and the mind comes and says, because you said this or because you did this, that's why. You see, it's very quick to assign these kind of stories. And there are many biases that come also because of this. For example, things like success bias. Because if you read the papers, you only read about successes of till last year. This year, you hear about a lot of failures of startup entrepreneurs. That ambition, every startup entrepreneur, I know it's going a little away from satsang, but every startup entrepreneur that I have met has had a lot of fire, a lot of ambition, you see. But it doesn't always translate into action, doesn't always translate into success.
It's not like that. For example, let's say suppose it's just like this, like 1,000 people come to satsang, it doesn't mean that 1,000 people will get realization of the truth. In the same way, if like 1,000 people are working for the success, it doesn't mean that 1,000 people will achieve the success.
Why not? If it is
Because
about that ambition and thinking, then it should be, no?
no, success has a contribution of these things, but there are a lot of other factors.
Like
Luck,
luck is what?
God's will.
Okay. You see, so so what you're saying is that God plays a part, but you play a part as well. Now this you cannot find. Isn't that the root of it? You say luck or God's will plays a part, but it cannot be without you playing a part. Now this you is who? Like we were saying that day, how do you move your hand? Like at this moment, I don't know which hand is also going to move. Hmm? Okay, I'm going to move the right hand, and the right hand seems to move. How did I? How is it done? How is that decision actually moving the hand? Do you know how to do it?
So like you mean to say that there is no difference at all between voluntary and involuntary actions.
Yes, because who's who's volunteering for the action or not? And my right hand will move actually. Could have just been as a joke, the left hand could have moved. God joke. You see? So just like the thought came, move the hand, same way the action came, the movement of the hand. I did not create that thought because I don't know which thought is going to come next. Why did I say move the hand and not move the leg? I don't know. You do not know the next thought. Only post facto, then another thought comes and says, see, you decided to move the hand and it moved. If it is thought based, then thought is controlled by who? Who is creating your next thought? Then you say it is just an appearance from nothing, goes back into nothing.
Can I say that it can be also like the breath, which like if you let go, then it has a natural reciprocation.
Yes, yeah.
And but there is also a freedom to direct it in a certain way. For example, the pranayam, the different kind of yogic
Yes,
exercise
yes,
that you
yes.
do. In the
So,
same way, there are thoughts
how do you control the breath flow? How do you move those nerves?
like we used to do na in Sudarshan Kriya.
Yes, I know. How did I do it?
Means
You
how?
see, it's just illusory idea that because the thought comes that okay, now I'm going to control my breath. You see, therefore, this I, who we cannot even find, then finds a way to constrict the breath. Who is actually playing like this? Neither the thought we decided that this is going to be. The thought came to you, what about movement of breath? What did you do to create that thought? What are the ingredients you used to create the thought? Did you collect some energy from somewhere, put it together as a thought it came? Who is this one who did that? The thought arose, but what about breath? See? And the action arose. Both are just arising within this play of consciousness. Who is the thought speaking to? Who are these two?
Can't I say it in this way that just like in this space of I am, like this exists,
Yes.
the body exists in the same way, and this body is a like a phenomenal tool to experience this
Yes.
realm.
Yeah.
In the same way, I exist, and this
I
energy
exist as what? Can't
as
slip
I,
that in
okay,
very subtly.
so I
Body exists, okay, in this realm. Then,
so I exist as that which knows the body.
okay, that which knows the body, okay, very good, yes. Now,
Or if I could give it to some attribute, then I would say that this space like I am, in which the body is appearing,
you exist as I am. That would, no, just clarifying what you said. He's looking very disappointed in my
of course
response.
I exist.
As I
Otherwise,
am, exist, isn't it? Yes, that's what you're saying. Okay, then.
and in the same way as the body is appearing, this energy
Is
which
she
is
crying because of the questions or the answers? Or both? Sometimes I also feel like crying. I understand. At least she didn't say the crying is just happening. I'm not crying. So I am is there then is the answers because I started talking again and she started crying again. And she's saying, can we please be quiet? mother is scared to talk. You know, explode in front of him.
I would love that explosion.
You have to explain to her dad what happened.
Okay, Father, it's just like when Shakti spoke, I felt the same sense with the question that,
Yeah,
and also the way she was putting those questions. Then I felt like I had the same thing.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
why I
yeah.
wanted to follow up that.
Right. Yeah, this question actually was very strongly present here also because we've spoken about this also. How there is so much identity around work, because my father.
And also like what you speak, like I have seen in the experience
Yeah,
that it's just what appears in the present moment,
yeah,
like any movement of the body.
exactly.
But like in satsang, like I fight with you because
Oh, finally. Because what? We are waiting for this answer for a very long time. But you told me you were in the debate team in school or something.
because because I feel like there are many moments also that a lot of identification is going with this doership.
Yeah.
Clarification. It's
Yes,
good
yes.
if we can have more clarification on.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Very often I've said that the real conclusion to this free will versus God's will debate is only to find out who is that one who could have free will. And once we see that there is no one here except God, then there is no distinction between God's will and free will. And I've immersed myself in this question for many years, as you know, with Ramesh. And
But I do still feel strongly that I have free will.
yes,
Even
but you are who?
so, like if you say that if I
You
can
are
play.
who? He's like, just ignore the question. Let's move on.
No, no, no. With that question,
Yeah.
that what you are implying to say that it is the person, it is the
No, no,
person.
no. I'm not implying anything. You tell me who you are.
I can't relate it to with this question of free will to the sense that I am.
Okay. So let me see if we can relate it. So there's God's will. You say you call it fate or destiny or luck or whatever you call it. And there's this idea of free will. You see? Now, God's will we know belongs to God. Okay? This free will belongs to who? That must be the meaning of free will, that it is free from God's will. Free will means what? Free from God. It's a very funny term. But free from God's will means what? Free from God.
I don't see like how this free will that I claim to have is separate from the God's will.
Yeah, exactly. It cannot be different because there is no individual you. There is only
But
God.
I do feel that I have free will.
I know. It's a prevalent feeling in the world where most, if you go and ask, they will say, yes, yes, God, we believe in God, but we have our own free will. And then you say, you are free, that is where it starts to, the concept of free will starts to dissolve, you see, because once you see there is nobody here that has free will, therefore all that must be only God's will, because only God is. If we say God is everywhere, or God is, then what are we saying? God is everywhere except this I who has free will. Okay, included. And how much control does the superset have over this I which is included in that? Just label and leave it at that. Look more and say, okay, there is a superset and there is a subset. So what is the boundary of the superset and subset?
लेकिन हम बोलते हैं ना कि हमारी इतनी शक्ति नहीं है कि हम ईश्वर को जान सकें, देख सकें, तो हम अपनी ही स्तर पर बात करते हैं.
So he's saying, okay, now you only have to translate because you're a better Hindi translator than me.
Like we say that we can't talk about how supreme power is because we don't have that much like strength and power.
Yes, yes, but we're not saying anything. We're just saying, who is this I who doesn't have the power to know God?
Okay, so let's take this practical example. Okay, okay. I can simply drop it if you feel
No,
that.
I'm just don't drop the question who you are because somewhere in a belief you can say that that is beyond me actually to find out who I am, to find out the distinction between God and I. Don't make that an unapproachable question. So what if the rest of the world says it? That's why there's so few of us in satsang here, because there's a feeling here that it can be known directly, but it cannot be known mentally. So either you prove me right or you prove me wrong. You give up on the question.
I am very much okay. We can talk about like 10 days continuously, but you if you are okay with it.
Yes, but you don't switch the question. Who is the I that can have free will that is independent from God? Don't call it God's will anymore.
Okay, so I will give a practical example for that.
But do we need an example? Just say who the I is. If there is I who is here, we must be able to point to it, no?
And would it be wrong if I would say that this I who claim to have free will is the consciousness which is present in me?
Is that I am this consciousness. When God is also I am that I am. Therefore, only it is only your free will, but you as God, our consciousness.
As something
The next thought it is creating. Now, with which gear is it creating the next thought?
if I ask you imagine banana, can't you imagine banana?
Who? But who is imagining it? Power of imagination belongs to who? I'm not saying that there is no power to imagine. I'm just saying it does not belong to this fictional entity called Ananta. Who created this idea that, let me say, uh, about the banana? That also came from the same consciousness, isn't it? Isn't it? The same consciousness which has the power to project this thought has also the power to project imagination, has the power to project all of this. Yes. But before I said, he said it, no? She's making all attempts to hear only this side of the answer and not that side of the question. So maybe just subliminally the banana when you then she said, when I said banana, she said, yes, banana. I feel we're very close to something here because all that has been you individually now you're seeing belongs to consciousness, the power to imagine, the power of creation of the next thought, the movement of the next action. You see, all of this, who is doing and who is experiencing? Is there an entity called Azar there who's doing it?
Okay, so this hand moves.
The moves.
Before the movement happened, don't didn't you experience there was a will which arose this movement? Before
This,
thought, before movement, there was a will
yes,
which caused this
yes,
movement.
yes. And who created and experienced it? The sense of moving, the sense of thoughts coming, the sense of imagination, all of this is appearing. That I am denying the existence of Azhar. And you yourself say, can I say it is the consciousness or I am? Yes, of course, that is then what we are saying.
But in my experience, it's not like what you or Mujiji says that consciousness is not deliberately doing any of these things. In my experience,
What does it mean deliberately?
like w- what it sounds to me when Muji speaks on the this topic of, then it feels like he's on some automatic gear and I'm still on manual gear.
Yeah. So let's look at that because the feeling of being on manual gear feels, does it feel like consciousness or presence is doing it, or does it feel like there's an individual decision maker who's doing it? Because my experience from the past of feeling like I'm doing this or I must do this and now I have to do this, that felt like just the interpretation and the subtitling coming from the mind. You see, irrespective of what was coming from there, the actions were moving independently of this. That's why it's always been in automatic. It just feels like it's
That's what
okay.
you.
So let's go to the root of this also. So suppose you are doing it deliberately on manual gear. Who is this you?
The one which says my body and my thought.
Yes, and who is that? That is the starting point of when we come to satsang. We come to my body, my thought. You see? Now, after you look and inquire into this me, who do you find?
Like I don't see how it is wrong if I say that it is the
Don't,
being.
okay, forget about the conversation we've had so far. I will link it back for you, I promise. Who is this me?
The sense of being I am,
The sense of being is here. Is there anyone else here?
which knows this.
Okay, very good. So, this sense of being is God. Is there any other will except that which belongs to this one?
How could it be possible? We say that like कि बोलते हैं ना कि मतलब पत्ता पत्ता भी ईश्वर की मर्जी से ही हिलता है.
Yeah,
But it doesn't seem like this.
yeah. But that's why you use the dream state to check who's projecting the entire universe in the dream. After waking up, you say it's all a projection of my being consciousness. So if you say that all will, so what I find for the me, my when I say my will, I find only this being and that which knows this. You see? So this being is that which we call God. So then are you saying this is free will or God's will? So this is a very good contemplation and contemplate further into this. That there is no other God but this being. And just like a dream where there might be the sense of a in the dream life, you see that the entire dream was just a play within yourself, within your being. The same way, this waking state also, you will have the same insight. When you take away this idea of the existence of another besides this presence, then all the glory of this presence will become more and more clear to you. So, mythical person and a mythical god will dissolve. You see? And you find that your own being, your own consciousness is the one consciousness, is the one God. And we're no longer reliant on some ideas about myself or some ideas about God.
So if you really mean to say that the being that I experience myself to be and that which I call God or the supreme power is one,
Yes.
then how is it that okay?
Yeah, contemplate more on this is very good.